All right, guys. Well, welcome back to the shop. Now, previously, I did the install of the CPP, subframe and all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned about having adjustability on the rear arms, similar to what is on the front arms, because the control arms have these big long slots in there for the control arm to move in and out for adjustment. The factory ones on the 65, 66 Mustangs did not have that. 67 later, they did actually add that. Now, there are kits, a number of kits that you can buy that will have plates and all kinds of things to weld in here and all those spacer things to do it. But I'm cheap. They're kind of expensive for what they are, as far as I'm concerned. Great products. Nothing against them. I don't like buying something that I can make myself, and something that's pretty simple. So, just to kind of recap, so if you're not familiar with it, so you see this is a big washer with a bolt going in the edge of it instead of the center. So, that thing kind of weeble wobbles back and forth, which lets that arm go side to side. On the back, we don't have that adjustment right now. So I'm going to add that. Now, once you get it in place, you go from this little guy to one of these little guys. And the idea is that you find the right position that it kind of locks in there side to side. So I got two different ideas I'm going to try on this, and we'll see which one I actually end up doing. Okay, so to illustrate this a little better, put you down here. You can see this oval hole. And the idea is this bolt goes in here through the arm. And you can see as you turn it, it goes side to side. And that makes your adjustment relatively easy. And then the idea is that, say, let's put it through the other way. You find a spot, it's like, that's where I want it to be. Now you take this little plate right here, and then you figure out which, kind of like that, the first time. That's never happened before and never happen again. You figure out which way fits the best, so when you've got this clamp together, so you're not relying on just clamp pressure entirely to keep that thing from moving side to side. You put this little thing in here, this little washer in here, and it basically provides a stop against both sides of this here, so it holds your adjustment. There were cars in the past that, I still think of them as newer vehicles, that when they finally started doing these things, that all they had were these oval things, and you had to crank, all you did was just crank them down in place, and there wasn't really anything to hold them in place. So if they loosened up a little bit, they could actually turn on you. So that's why you have these little locks. And there's various different ways of doing this. So now, as you can see, I've got my oval hole here, round one here, and let me go grab my little template. Okay, so here is my my CAD template. I drew this up in CAD a little while back while I was working on some other stuff. So as you can see, kind of emulates that same oval hole there. I don't know if I'm going to make these exactly the same width or not. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. So basically what you want to do is replicate this down here. As you can see, this fits in here really nice. Down here, not so much. So what I'm going to do for now, right off the bat, is I just want to put this on here and be able to outline where that hole is going to be. So since I'm not prepared, let me go grab a pen. Okay, well, I'm slightly better prepared this time. I've brought this little guy, a handful of pens, because I don't know which one's actually going to work. And we are just going to kind of shove that in place, and we're going to center that up. All right, well, as you can see, I went ahead and marked all these little holes out because, yeah, I'm an idiot and I'm not going to use those markings. What I'm going to do, well, let me back up. What I was planning on doing was just cut these out and make a piece that was a barrier that would go here. That would basically be a stop to give you that same stop on either side for the little washer to go left and right. And I'm sitting there looking at it, well, why don't I just use this hole that's here? And there's one of these holes at all 4 of these. And we all know that there's no way on earth that those things are going to line up in the same area as that. But I'm going to cross my fingers and hope. So what I did was I made a little cardboard CAD drafted template here of this area here. So the plan is, mark the hole in this and then oval it into here. Mark where this hole is, pop a hole in here, and then take a very short dowel of probably going to be a bolt, because I don't think I've got any dowels that are that large. Drill the hole, make this out of steel, drill a hole, weld that in, and that way now you've got this little plate here, and it just sits right on top of there, indexes into that little hole right there, so it doesn't move around. And then I can put my barrier on this here, so you've got your little barrier here, so that washer has something to move up against. And basically you need to make 4 like this, and then 2 with the pin on this side and 2 with the pin on that side, because you've got on this side and then over on that side. So I'm gonna go over to the sheet metal pile and see what I can find and try to make up 4 of these little guys. Okay, well, previously, I had all these things marked out, so I plasma cut them out and got them in the ballpark of being where I need them to be. And here's my little CAD drafted template right here. Worked really well. Gave me the size I wanted, hole placement where I wanted it to be. Pop those holes. Now what I've done is this little hole here is slightly smaller than the shank of this 1950s bolt, which I have a ton of. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of this and make a dowel out of it. So we'll get to that here in a few minutes, but just chop a piece off, and it's going to be a slight press fit in here. Now, one of the issues we have is when this goes in here, you go that way, that's great. You go that way, that's great, but there's nothing over here, because over here you're constrained by the frame. So what I will do is take a piece of steel and weld that right onto there. So my next step is I'm going to go ahead and weld this onto here, and then I'm going to cut that piece and we'll press that into there and probably weld the back side of it as well. Now you'll notice that this washer's a little big for this. Well, that's fine, because I'm going to take and reshape this. I have extras of these washers. I'm going to reshape this thing to a size that will fit the what's on this area here, which caged in here, because it's just not as big. So I'll make it fit. Okay, so my first prototype one, I've got my little piece welded on here, and just for future reference, guys, it's nice to weld this thicker steel, but when you don't feel like changing the wire out, the little bitty wire's a pain in the butt for welding this stuff. So now, wearing gloves because these pieces are hot, I've cut my tiny little piece there, my little pin. It's going to go in that hole, and we are going to try to smash it into there. If I can even get it to line up, because I'm wearing gloves and I can't do anything with gloves on. So, that kind of lined up. Okay, well, apart from ugly welds from you not using the right wire, I've got that sticking out just a little bit. Let's go over to the car and see if that's going to line up. Oh, I hate gloves. Am I the only one that the fingertips are way too long? Every pair of gloves, the fingertips are too long. So I throw those things away. Let's go over to the car. Okay, and oh, never mind. I got to grind some off the ends here first. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see if that's going to fit now. So that oval hole is going to be about there, and our pin. Look at that. Locks in there nicely. I like that. I think that's going to work just fine. So basically what I'll do is I will just clamp this into place, come in here with a die grinder, and you know, grind that out to equal this here, and that'd be good to go. Now there are aftermarket ones for production cars that have little sheet metal things that go into holes like this, and that's basically what I was copying, but this is a little heavier duty. So when this is all clamped in place, that's not going to go anywhere. Adds a nice bit of structure here, makes it nice and stiff, gives you plate. You can come back, and if you wanted to, you could weld this whole plate in here if you wanted. I'm not going to, because it's already painted. Had I done this, you know, before I painted it, yeah, I would have welded this in, but I'm not going to do that now. So I'm going to make another one of these just like this with better welds, and I weld that pin in too. So I'll make another one of these and 2 more mirror images, because you can't put that over here. So 2 are going to have this plate on this side, 2 are going to have the, you know, flip-flop the plate and the pin. But yeah, I like it. That works. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of them and powder coat them, and they'll be ready to go in the car, and just cut that out. All right, well, I've got my part nice and powder coated here with its ugly welding. Made even worse than what I was mentioning earlier about using the smaller wire. The fact that this is sitting on top of a heavy cast iron table, which I had to really crank the heat up to do any kind of welding on. So we will see. See, look at that. Didn't that fit nice? Look at that. Perfect. So now all we got to do, remove that material in there, the factory stuff, and then this one also fits the other side and the back side. So I'm going to turn the camera over there. We'll see if it fits that one too. So over this side, I like it. It fits there nicely too. And there's a little bit of slot because my pin is just a little bit smaller than that. I didn't want it to be perfect because I wanted to have a little bit of slot for misalignment, make that easier. So now I've got to make another one of these, 2 more mirror images, and cut out these little holes right in here, and it'll be good to go. And I know as soon as I do this, somebody's going to sell these things on the internet, but yeah, what are you going to do? All right, well, I was at an impromptu setup for my powder coating area. I had it hanging off of there, and then the magnet failed me, and then you can imagine the words that came out when that happened, and I had to start all over again. And now I have to clean up the powder off the floor as well. More so than what I was messing in the first place. But we'll just go over here and take a look at it and see how it looks in the oven. Yes, that's just a toaster oven. I don't have a big oven anymore. But there it is. It's ready to come out. And I say those look pretty good. All right, well, I've got all 4 of these in my hand that I made, and we are going to see if they fit. This one? No, that's the wrong one, dummy. All right, so that one? Yeah, wrong one again. 50-50 chance, wrong every time. Look at that, perfect fit. And again, look at it, again. Nice, perfect fit. And we'll go around the other side where you can't see. Oh, come on. Garbage in the way. And nice fit. Nice fit, and it fits on both sides. However, I did go out right there are the the frame rails and everything from the original car. They only have this hole in one spot. They do not have this in all four. So if you were going to do this method that I have here with this little pin here, you're going to have to drill that hole if you're going to make something like this. I guess this is something I could actually have laser cut out and do a nice little thing and actually sell those if I really wanted to. But I seriously doubt anybody would buy them. But you'd have to have a template to drill that hole as well. Not a big deal. You could just index off of a few things and drill that hole in, and you only have to go through the first layer. You don't have to go through both layers. But yeah, so far that's pretty good. Next thing is I'm going to cut that oval hole out, and I'm going to make that washer just a little bit smaller for that. I don't know if I'll film that or not because it doesn't really need to be done. So, you know, you get the idea. But that's my next step here, and I hope you enjoyed. And simple little thing made in the shop. Not hard to make. Yeah, you can do it yourself. Okay, well, just to recap, this is our brackets. That's our permanent mount, which we may or may not use. I may make my own custom plates with just notches in it. So it'd just be basically a square plate that would go in the hole with a notch in the middle. So one in the center, one at the far left, and then maybe one of them part way. And then you can flip them over and just place them in there. I may make my own for that when it comes to alignment time. I don't know. But here you can see this is my my drafted one to fit over here. So I changed this up a little bit so it actually will kind of fit into there. It does fit when it's on the car. So what I'll do is just trim 2 of these washers just like this. So let's go over and look at that real quick. Okay, so let's try this again without dropping it this time. Okay, so you can see I've already cut that out in there. And basically the way this is going to work is this is going to go in here, and you can see you can turn and get pressure to go each direction that you need to go. And you can see it slides side to side. And the whole point is just to drop it on the floor. The idea is this is just a cam to push it side to side. Okay, I'm probably blocking all that, but it's just a cam. All it does is push it side to side, make it easier for you to line it, instead of getting out and trying to, you know, wrestle the thing back and forth and, you know, loosen it up, tap it over, loosen it, tap it over. It gives you something to move it with. Then once it's in place, you'll put your block pieces in there that will block it in place. It keeps it in place. Or you just tighten it up really tight and hope for the best. But that's going to be it for now. I'm not going to look at the camera because I have not combed my hair today. So you can see over here I haven't cut that one yet. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something and found, you know, something that you can build yourself for your own car. You know, maybe if I was really interested in, I would make one up, and I'd have to make 2, one that fits the aftermarket and one that fits the factory, because they're not the same. But anyway, I'm gonna get this video edited, get it out. My next one is going to be spraying 2K primer on the body of the car.